Hello, world. I'm kicking myself, y'all. I'm here in this moment and I realize that I'm making a mistake. As we speak, I am working on a proposal for a customer that has morphed into this long, time intensive response. And I realize that I'm breaking a rule. And as I'm in this moment, making this mistake and violating a principle, I recognize that I've got a teachable moment here that I wanted to just address with all of you. Let me bring you up to speed on the context. I was introduced to a lead from Aslan Training and Development to actually close some business for an organization in New York that's got a distributed team of multiple reps across Asia, several in India with different cultures. And in talking to one of the individuals on the team, if you've been there, this individual is responsible for spearheading this decision-making process, but is in no way the head of the organization or has any authority to make the final decision. This is something that's going to be done as a group with multiple stakeholders. And in our multiple attempts to get all of those stakeholders to one call, people have flaked off, not showed up, and people just couldn't make it to the conversation, which was intended to be a sit down with everybody involved so that they could all participate and collaborate on how to move forward with the decision, to actually handle it in conversation. And in talking with the gentleman, I explained to him that one of the biggest challenges is in getting all of the specific needs that you're going to use to determine ROI in one place. He said, I've got it. We have that list. We sat down and I've compiled all of the 15 different points that we need to address to make sure we get ROI from this actual training endeavor. Now, whatever solution you might have, whether it's training or any kind of a consultative service or a total solution from some software or technology offering that you might have, you'll have similar lists of requests and requirements. And without them having gone to this place, I said, well, you know what, since we can't get everyone together, I'm going to help you succeed, and I will make sure I send you the ways that we address each of those key points so that you can share it with the rest of your team and use that to get them to this one sit down to discuss them. That's a huge mistake. And I'll tell you why. One of the shortest cuss words in this world in terms of number of letters is RFP. If you're familiar with an RFP, a request for proposal, in order to make sure that the organization is making an unemotional, objective decision about a very high stakes, important, usually high dollar solution, they will send that request for proposal out and have organizations do their best to write this long proposal, respond to every single point in as much detail as they can, and give the decision makers a chance to read through it and use that criteria to just matrix through which one meets the requirements, invite them for one conversation, and privately ask them some little clarifying points and make their decision away from you in private. In the world of high stakes sales, we hate RFPs. It is a frustrating ordeal because you are now violating one of the key principles and you're creating sunk costs into your sale. The other rule you violate by committing all of this effort into writing a beautiful proposal and giving them lots of things to read is you're putting a layer of abstraction, some distance between you and your customer. Remember, the customer that you serve is not an organization, it's not a committee, it's not a policy team or a group of decision-making authorities. They're individuals, they're people. And people make decisions based on conversations. Whenever you give a customer an opportunity to disengage and to read something on paper, you're separating them from you and giving them a chance to sit down and go into their own thoughts and analyze every single word. And they're now faced with the additional time of reading your proposal and the emotional energy of having to interpret everything you wrote on their own without your direct input, without you being there to help them. Whenever you are committing time to sitting down and writing a long, detailed proposal with pictures and excerpts and all of this stuff, you are sinking cost into the sale. You're sinking cost into your effort, and you're making yourself unconsciously more desperate to win that. You will have what's called that sunk cost fallacy, that even though you weren't desperate to win that sale before, you'll now be looking at that opportunity as one that you have to win because you put in so much time and effort. And they didn't even ask me for an RFP. I recognized the opportunity to, quote unquote, help this individual. And I signed myself for this hour and a half of time that I've nearly finished now. I'm almost done with the proposal of drafting this beautiful proposal. And as I'm finishing, I'm realizing that this person's got to read all this shit. He's got to sit down and read everything I wrote. And if he doesn't read every beautifully crafted word or look at every single picture, then he's not going to get the full value, and he may come up short on feeling like we're the best solution. I am now pouring all this energy in and creating for me hope. Hope, not expectation. And hope is not a strategy. The best strategy you can have is to get all of your stakeholders into conversations. Whenever you give them an opportunity to disengage, they will. The longer they can sit on your proposal and consider it and pore over every word and mill about with their team to ask questions about what do you think about this part or that part, or now go compare one line item from your proposal to the other ones, the more confused they become, and the confused mind does nothing. The confused mind does not act. Nobody gets paid for writing proposals. Let me say that again. No one gets paid for writing proposals unless you're the proposal writer inside of a sales team. But if you are a B2B sales rep and you're devoting hours of your time towards writing a proposal for one customer, an hour and a half is at least 3 great conversations you could be having with other prospects that will advance and promote your opportunity a lot faster than the most beautiful proposal ever would. Don't feel bad if you're in the middle of writing one right now, because guess what? The sales coach and trainer is sucked into it as well. But even as I am here, recognizing this folly, I wanted to share how easy it is to slip into this natural tendency as we're trying to win this business, to allow ourselves to do more work than any one opportunity would entail, should entail, right? The ultimate upside of this opportunity is no more than $25,000. Is it worth all of this time? Perhaps. But writing a great proposal and sending it out for review puts you in that position of high input on your cost and time and effort and low expectation of real progression. And that puts you in a position of hope and not in a position of confidence. So, drop the ball, made my mistake, learn from what I've done, do as I say, not as I do. But just remember that anytime you are in a position that you're asked to write an RFP or deliver a long proposal, make sure you push back. Get them into a conversation about those points, because the words they say will resonate more than any words you write. Good luck out there. Look for more information from Sales and Logistics coming forward. Have a good day.